right, do you want them one at a time?
Sure, however you want to do it.
The first one I'm just going to...
Otherwise you're going to test my memory.
Yeah, well, this refers to when you first started, you were very clear to us that you were here for this amount of time to do what you wanted to do, and then you would be headed onto other things. And I know that I can speak for myself, my team, anybody I know, how much we have appreciated what you've done for our company and the great leadership we are getting from you. Do you have a timeline at this point as to how much longer you're going to be around?
So I think when I started, I didn't necessarily say I was going to be here for a specific amount of time, a year or 5 years or whatever it may be. I think what I said was I'm not going to be here as long as Doris has been here, which I'll still stand by that. But my commitment is to really focus on how to improve Pampered Chef and how to make it relevant for the next 35 years. And I will be here until I feel like we're in a good place, going in a good direction on that. I also don't envision myself ever fully leaving Pampered Chef. So I've been at Berkshire Hathaway for 6 years, which is Pampered Chef's parent company, and I started working with Pampered Chef about 2.5 years ago before I joined full-time. So I would imagine that I continue with Berkshire and perhaps I shift to a different role. So I move from the CEO to a chairman role or an advisor role and still work closely with the business and work with the management team that's working on it actively when that time is the right time. I put a lot of effort and work into Pampered Chef, and I feel strongly about the strategy and the path forward in our direction. So I wouldn't want to move too quickly where I'm too far away and don't get to participate in that. I have very strong opinions, and I want to make sure they continue and we're successful at that. I also would say it's been very important to me to build a strong team, both at our leadership level, our officer team, as well as throughout the organization. We want to be at a place where the organization is growing and the individuals within it are growing and getting new opportunities. The fact that we've had to go out and hire people means I think that we've really struggled internally with developing, and I think we need to make sure we're developing more people internally so they have more opportunities. It's disruptive to an organization to have to go out and hire a lot of people. I think it's healthier to have a combination of promotions, development within, and then a few select outside perspectives. So I think that I'm focused on that as well, to make sure that whenever that time comes, that we're in a really good place. It's not dissimilar from your teams, right? I hope that you're developing your teams so that as you mature and you perhaps promote to the next level or eventually in Pampered Chef retire, your team's sustainable even if you're not there. I think the sign of a strong leader to me is that the organization is just as successful after the person leaves as it was when the person's there. If I make Pampered Chef really successful and I leave and it falls apart, then I think that we've had some challenges. So I really want to make sure that we're very strong.
Great. My second question is, all of these videos that are going viral, like tasty videos and all this kind of stuff, it seems all of a sudden everybody can cook because they see these little 30-second videos of this is how easy it is. And we've been doing that for years, but is there any way that you guys in marketing are going to throw together some of those and put Pampered Chef's name on it and let people start saying, hey, I got this from a Pampered Chef video, instead of just hearing about Tasty and the tomato one or all the just different little things?
So Belinda Hudman in marketing comes from a strong digital background and digital experience. And I felt that was really important because I think that we not only need marketing collateral that is paper-based, catalog or otherwise, but we really need to come into the modern era and make sure that we're engaging with customers the way they want to be engaged with. And I think the short movie spots that you're mentioning or videos on Facebook are exactly that. And I think that we've done a few of those, the build of the nachos, there's a oatmeal one, I've seen a few others. And I think that we really have ramped up from a video perspective to have that capability. Last year when I joined, or before I joined, we didn't even have an on-site video team. So all of our video, whenever we did a video, we had to bring in people from externally. So we hired a videographer and editor last year who really focuses on that. And we're putting more investment into videos because we think there's a lot of potential there of how we can leverage them more effectively and how do we still utilize them to feature our products. I think what you'll see, Tasty is actually owned by BuzzFeed, which is a news organization. I don't know why they do all those videos. I haven't figured out what they think they're getting out of it. They're not selling products, they're not doing anything else. So I think it's interesting that they have, I don't know, 40 million Facebook followers or something like that. So there's definitely people want to engage, but I think for us figuring out how does it work for us and how do we utilize that and how do we give you all tools, it's far more effective if you're sharing that on your social feeds than if we're sharing that directly. So I think we are trying to figure out how do we adapt to that. And earlier when I said that I think technology makes it stronger, that's a prime example of, look, Tasty can get 40 million followers by sharing videos of people making some item. I think that it is attractive for us. Now that being said, I haven't met anyone who ever has actually made the Tasty video that they watched. And I haven't, I just watch it and say, wow, that's really neat. So I think we have an opportunity to, how do we combine that where we actually can teach you how to do it. Just watching a quick video doesn't mean you actually know how to do it. But I think there's lots of opportunity.
And finally, I'm pretty sure, again, I can speak for everybody when we say we love that when there's a new product out that you guys come up with this recipe book and all this kind of stuff. But I feel some of that is left on us to get that to your customers. And I've always, in this dreamland, thought, let's say somebody buys a rock crock, and when I hit submit, would love for Pampered Chef to just automatically email them something like, it doesn't have to be every product, but something that's just instant gratification that we don't have to
So remember. I'm laughing, like, you need to come work in the marketing department. We were actually, earlier than this, we were having a script review from National Conference of what we're going to talk about National Conference, and it sounds like you're stealing Belinda Hudman's script, so don't think that, I just took everything back to her. She actually is going to talk about it. It's called personalized content. So personalized content is how do you actually personalize content to what some individual purchase or engage with you on and get them information that's relevant to them. An exact example she uses in her address to the at National Conference is the rock crock, right? What if I told you you could have after someone buys a rock crock, rather than you sending a whole bunch of recipes automatically from Pampered Chef on your behalf, an email goes out and says, here are all the recipes for the rock crock. Then maybe a month later it says, wow, are you loving your rock crock? Watch this video to make this recipe. And then maybe 2 weeks later it says, hey, if you're loving the rock crock, wouldn't you also love to get this item? And I think that that's, we're working down that path. We're not there yet. I mean, there's a lot of things that we want to do, but we feel like there's so much opportunity with consumer that we're focused on how do we deliver that effectively and what's going to be the biggest bang for our buck and what also is a quick win, easy to deliver, what takes more time and harder, but it's definitely on our radar, and I think it's something that's really exciting for us.
Great, thank you.
Oh, sorry, she already has a mic. We'll come up to you next.
I'm Debbie Noel from Dublin, Texas.
Hi, Debbie.
And I have a question about the new consultant kit. I did send an email, and I'm just wondering if this is something feasible, but as far as like the tools in the kit, if we took out some of the smaller tools and replaced it with a power tool. When I first started, I had the mini muffin tin. I sold mini muffin tins, I sold batter bowls, I sold whisk, and then I got a deep cover baker, I sold deep cover bakers. So if we took, what would you be, I have no idea as far as production cost or anything like that, but would that be something feasible to take some of the smaller items out and replace it with either the smaller rock crock, the deep cover baker, so that we're getting them off to a good start?
Yeah. I think it's great feedback. So when we look at the kits, historically the approach to the kits was to have a representative item from every part of the line. So having a seasoning, bamboo, stoneware, etc. When I looked at it, I thought, is that the best way? I kept getting feedback that we want power tools in the kit. That's going to help. That's what people sell. That's what they need to deliver. And we're not giving our consultants off to a strong start without that. So we started a pilot last year, October or so, with a small group of consultants. We have about 60 consultants going through a pilot with new kits that are sampling different products to see how they are successful from a recruiting perspective and also how their new consultants are being successful as well. So we've been tracking that closely. So far, it's very optimistic and positive that the changes we've made to the kit are very positive, but we're continuing to watch that and learn from those consultants, both the recruiters as well as the new consultants, consultants to better understand how they're performing and then what we want to learn from that. I think we have a great, let me take a sec. We have a different shift in approach to how we test things since I've joined Pampered Chef. And rather than test things with the entire field, where if you make a mistake, it's pretty big, to try to test smaller with pilots. So pilots, Direct Ship Now, our Lead Plus is a pilot, as is the new consultant kit. We can test small, we can make adjustments, we can learn and change things and see, is this effective or is this not? And we can also test it to a control group that's not getting whatever the pilot treatment is. So the more we can use pilots, the more effective we are to making sure that the changes are as researched as possible. We're always going to make mistakes. I mean, it's just inevitable. So we want to learn as much as possible ahead of time to avoid as many mistakes. But I think that's interesting feedback, and we're seeing in the pilot so far that your sort of idea is playing out, that people with power tools in the kits are performing better than those with the regular kits.